Hey, have you ever met someone who just gets it? Like, they don't have to say much, but you can tell there's this quiet wisdom behind their eyes. Maybe it's your grandmother. Maybe it's that quiet friend who always seems a little older than their age. Or hey, maybe it's you. Today, we're going to talk about something not many people notice, and even fewer actually say out loud. 7 things old souls understand, but never say. And trust me, once you hear these, you'll start seeing them everywhere. Or maybe you'll realize you've known them all along. So if you've ever felt a little out of place, a little ahead of your time, or like you're carrying wisdom you can't explain, stick around. This one's for you. You know, in a world obsessed with trends, speed, and constant noise, old souls are like those rare, quiet corners in a bustling city. And whether you're 25, 65, or 90, being an old soul isn't about age. It's about depth. It's about seeing life through a slightly different lens, about feeling things more deeply, understanding people without them having to say a word. And while that might sound like a superpower, it can also be pretty isolating. That's why this topic matters. Because there are so many people walking around feeling this quiet disconnect, like they're from another time, or they think too much or feel too hard, and they have no idea there's a name for it, or that others feel it too. So, today, let's talk about the 7 silent truths old souls live by. Maybe you'll recognize a few, and maybe you'll feel a little less alone. Okay. Before we jump into the list, let's quickly break down why some people seem to be born with this old soul energy. Psychologists suggest it comes down to a mix of emotional intelligence, heightened empathy, and sometimes even trauma or life experiences that force someone to mature early. There's also a theory called existential intelligence, basically the ability to reflect deeply on life's bigger questions. It's why old souls often find themselves fascinated by topics like mortality, purpose, the meaning of love, or the nature of the universe. And get this, according to a recent study from the University of California, people with higher existential intelligence tend to report both higher life satisfaction and higher levels of loneliness. It's a double-edged sword. You see beauty others miss, but you also carry a weight they don't feel. And that's why old souls rarely say these 7 things out loud. Because most people wouldn't get it, but you might. Now, what does this actually look like in real life? Well, I'll tell you a story. My grandmother, who lived to be 89, was the perfect example of an old soul. She grew up in a time when life was simpler but harder. And even in her 80s, while everyone else was chasing likes and followers, she found peace sitting by her window, watching the seasons change. She taught me that not every silence needs to be filled, that not every problem needs a reaction, and that sometimes the wisest people in the room are the quietest. And it's not just our elders. I've met teenagers with the soul of a 70-year-old poet, or 20-somethings who feel more at home in antique bookstores than at clubs. The impact? These people tend to be the peacemakers, the listeners, the ones who stay calm when everyone else panics, but also the ones who often feel unseen. So yeah, being an old soul shapes your life in ways you might not even notice. All right, let's get into it. Here are 7 things old souls understand, but rarely say out loud. 1. Most people are chasing things that don't matter. An old soul knows deep down that money, status, and attention are temporary highs. What really matters is connection, meaning, and peace. 2. Everything is temporary, including pain. They've learned, sometimes through heartbreak, that no emotion lasts forever. That's why they don't overreact. They've seen storms come and go. 3. You can love people deeply and still let them go. Old souls understand that attachment is different from love. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do is to release someone. 4. Most conversations are surface level. And that's okay. They don't need every chat to be about the universe or life's meaning. They get that not everyone wants to dive deep. and they've made peace with that. 5 time alone isn't loneliness. In fact, solitude is sacred to them. It's where they recharge, reflect, and reconnect with themselves. 6. Listening is more powerful than speaking. Old souls often find themselves being the confidant, not because they give the best advice, but because they're truly present when others talk. 7. The world won't always understand you, and that's not your job to fix. They've accepted that they're wired differently, and that fitting in is overrated.
What makes someone develop this old soul nature? For some, it's growing up around older people, grandparents, mentors, or in communities where wisdom is valued over trendiness. For others, it's life experiences, a tough childhood, loss, heartbreak, or even early exposure to deep conversations. These things force you to mature faster, to think deeper, to feel harder. And sometimes, it's just who you are. Take James, a 27-year-old viewer who messaged me last week. He said he's always felt out of place at parties, hates small talk, loves old movies and long walks with no destination. Turns out, he was raised by his great-grandmother. That influence quietly shaped how he views the world. Same with Margaret, 75, who commented on one of my last videos. She said, "We didn't have the internet back then. We had long talks on porches at night, and you really learned to listen." See, it's not always about age. It's about experience. It's about what you pay attention to. All right, if you're sitting there thinking, "Yep, this is me, but it gets lonely sometimes," here's the good news. There are ways to embrace your old soul nature without feeling isolated. Find your tribe, even online. There are millions of people like you. Book clubs, philosophy groups, quiet, creative communities. Make peace with being misunderstood. Not everyone will get your depth, and that's okay. You're not here to convince them. Create sacred, quiet spaces. Whether it's a reading nook, a garden, or a late-night walk, find places where you can just be. Journal your thoughts. Old souls tend to overthink. Writing it down clears the mental clutter. Balance depth with lightness. Not every conversation needs to be profound. Laugh at dumb memes. Watch silly movies. Let yourself be both wise and ridiculous. And most importantly, know you're not weird. You're rare. Before we wrap this up, I just want to say this. In a world that's obsessed with fast answers and short attention spans, your depth is a gift. It's a light in places most people don't even know exist. And while it might feel heavy sometimes, trust me, the world needs more people like you. You might be the quiet friend who notices when someone's hurting, the coworker who asks how someone's really doing, the grandparent who shares stories no one else remembers, or the stranger who smiles at a lonely soul on the street. That stuff matters. You matter. And if no one's told you today, I'm glad you're here. If this video made you feel seen, leave a comment and tell me which one of these 7 truths hit home for you. Or better yet, share your old soul story. I'd love to hear it. Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell because we have so many more soul talks coming your way. Until next time, take care of your beautiful old soul.